Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hastkalide Dare Ganje Hakim. With the permission of chair of this session, Dr. Manu, our colleagues, I would like to propose that Şems Sempozyumu should have a session in Persian language also, if it was not possible to have an official language of this symposium in Persian. When we arrange a symposium on Shams or Mevlana Rumi, we must pay attention to Persian language. I think this is also a way of adab and respect to Mevlana and Shams to talk in their own language. من دلم میخواست مقاله خودم را به زبان فارسی ارائه کنم، اما چون زبان رسمی کنگره ترکی و انگلیسی است، من به احترام ضوابط و قوانین کنگره مقاله خودم را به زبان انگلیسی ارائه میدم. Facts and fiction hand in hand about Shams of Tebrizi in Pakistan. Shams of Tebrizi is an eminent name in the history of mysticism and literature. That is Shamsuddin Muhammad, son of Ali, son of Malik Dar. Although the life of Shams of Tebrizi is part of fiction and part of fact, but it is certain that he was beloved of Mevlana Jalaluddin Rumi. He came to Konya from Damascus. There he stayed in solitude with Mevlana for 40 days or 3 months. He left Konya for Syria as he felt irritated by the disciples of Mevlana. Mevlana became anxious after his departure, and he wrote letters and he did poetry to go his feelings of pain of disunion. Following this, Shams returned to Konya. Once again, he faced troubles in Konya at the hands of envious persons, and he again went back to Syria. Mevlana once again felt like a fish out of water in his absence and sent his son Sultan Walid to him in Syria. His son brought him back to Konya. Once again, Mevlana and Shams began to spend their time in company of each other. It stirred jealousy among the people who were around Mevlana, and they started insulting Shams, and they raised trouble for Shams, and ultimately murdered him. He disappeared. Now we will turn to another aspect, that how Shams Tebrizi is recognized and remembered in subcontinent, especially in Pakistan. This is an interesting research. It has two opposite trajectories. One consists of people who are initiated in the field, where thus the other comprise the common people. The former category views Shams as he is projected in Mevlana poetry and historical books like Manaqibul Arifin by Aflaki and Nafatul Uns by Jami. Well-known and sound poets have written poetry in his admiration. They have simply used his name as a symbol of love. The latter category has created several fictions about him and considered Shams Tebrizi everyone who went by the name of Shamsuddin in history. There is an ancient tomb in Multan, Pakistan. The attendant of this tomb is known as Shams Tebrizi in common person, who was the mentor of Mevlana, but it is absolutely wrong. It is said that his real epithet was Tabriz in heat giving, which disfigured into Tabriz. The one whose tomb is in Multan is Shamsuddin, originally from Sabzewar, Iran, and he was the descendant of Ismail, son of Imam Jafar Sadiq. His father, Salahuddin Muhammad Nur Bakhsh, belongs to Ismaili sects. We can briefly describe Shamsuddin Sabzewari of Multan as he was born in Sabzewar, Iran in 560 after Hijrah, and he arrived Kashmir with his father and returned to Sabzewar on 585 and went to Tabriz in 600 after Hijrah and stayed there in meditation for 12 years. When he came out of meditation, he went to Konya and then traveled to Egypt and Syria and went back to Sabzewar after touring these areas. His father died in 664. Following his father's death, he went to Baghdad. The clerics of Baghdad declared him infidel and were bent upon to tear apart his skin. He miraculously put on a blanket and tear apart his own skin, which was demonstrated to the whole city. He took back his skin in evening and wore it like dress. Then he intended to travel to India. He reached Multan in 665. He died there in about 675. His first tomb was constructed in 677. Present tomb was constructed almost 350 years ago. Now the administration of this shrine is totally in the hands of Shia community of Multan. We have some pictures here. This is the wall outside the shrine of Shamsuddin Tabrizi of Multan, and this is the tomb of Shamsuddin Tabrizi in Multan. Another view, and this is the door, his name, Katiba. This is the Chiragdan. This is a Darvesh sitting there. This is the inside of, this is the also inside of shrine. This is a window of shrine. This is some basic information about that Shamsuddin. This is Shajara of that Shamsuddin Tabrizi. This is also another view in Multan. This is also a Darvesh of Dargah of Shamsuddin Tabrizi. I just want to mention another Shamsuddin Tabrizi in India. He was a disciple of Sheikh Muhammad Ghaus Shattari, and he wrote many footnotes, Hawashi, on his mentor's book. He died in 994 in Deccan, India. We have very little literature about Shams Tabrizi in Urdu language. Mostly the books written about Maulana Jalaluddin also discuss Shams, like Shibli Nomani's book, Sawanne Maulana Rum. In his book, he mainly used Aflaki, Manaqibul Arifin, and Jami's Nafatul Uns. The first book published about Shams Tabrizi is written by Muhammad Din Fawq, published in Lahore in 1910, about 100 years ago. Another book written by Pir Ghulam Dastagir Nami of Lahore, entitled Sawanne Hayat Shams Tabrizi, also published in Lahore 1960. I think we have a picture of also title of this book by Ghulam Dastagir Nami. He wrote his book with reference to Aflaki, Jami, Sipasalar Risala, and Shibli Nomani researches. In the last chapter of the book, he mentioned the contradict about Shams Tabrizi and Shams Sabzewari of Multan. With reference to some research scholars, he mentioned that Shams of Multan was native of Tardiz, a village near Sabzewar. In Attock, a small town in north of Punjab province in Pakistan, some men of letters have established a literary club, Mahfal-e Sher-o-Adab, which has published a booklet on the occasion of the meeting that took place between Shams and Mevlana 750 years ago. On the occasion, they got together and presented some papers and poems pinpointing the importance and impact of that meeting between Shams and Mevlana. We have also the title of that booklet published in Kamalpur, Attack. We have not been able to find such an example in any country where some celebrations took place on the occasion of the meeting between Shams and Mevlana on the completion of 1500. Holding such a gathering to commemorate this meeting is the unique credit of Pakistan. This booklet is entitled Rumi wa Tebrizi, compiled by Nazr Sabari, was published in 1962 by that Mahfil-e-Sher o Adab. It comprised 4 articles and 5 poems regarding meeting between Shams and Mevlana. Yes, this is the title of that book, Rumi wa Tebrizi. In 2004, Rustam Ali Jamshed, a resident of Faisalabad of Pakistan, wrote a book entitled hz.Shah Shams Tabriz Rahmatullah Alayh Tazkara Halat aur Talimat in Shams Tabrizi, his life, history and teachings, published by Haq publication from Lahore. The author claims that he has authored a first-rate historical and Islamic book on the life of Shams, but as a matter of fact, this book is packed of lies and wonderment of fiction. He concocted such incidents about Shams and Mevlana which were never happened in their lives. He mentioned Shams' years of birth as 584 and year of death as 670 in Damascus. He also narrated that Mevlana, along with his 400 murids, went to Damascus from Konya for his burial. Although the author has denied that the Shams, whose tomb is in Multan, is some other personage who belonged to Ismailiya sect. But the author has related the incidents and happening of the Shams Sabzwari to those of Shams Tabrizi. He entitled this as a chapter, Entry of Shams Tabrizi in Multan. He narrated that Shams Tabrizi entered the port of Dibal, now Karachi, through a boat and then traveled to Multan. Shams wrote a letter to Mevlana and told him that he could not live there and requested him to recall him. Mevlana sent 5 people to bring him back to Rome. The picture of tomb of Shams Sabzwari has been printed on the title page of the book. This makes more confusion that book is about Shams Tabrizi or Shams Sabzwari. We have also title of this book, I think, yes. Author has included these books as the source of research about Shams Tabrizi, like Tarikh Tabari, Sirat Ibn Hasham, Tafsir Ibn Kasir, Tafsir Tafhim al-Quran by Mevlana Maududi, and Suspense Digest. This shows that where the author has searched Shams Tabrizi from, if this book has been presented like a contemporary Iranian novel, Kimya Khatun by Saida Quds, it would have made a sense, but the author claimed that it is one of the best literary, historical and Islamic book. Most recently, book about Shams has published in Pakistan is Saman-e Hayat Shamsul Ma'arif Hazrat Shams Tabriz Ma Mukhtasar Intakhab Diwan Shams Tabrizi as Mevlana Jalaluddin Rumi. Yes, this is the Kimya Khatun, an Iranian novel, and this is book recently published about Shams Tabrizi in Pakistan. This huge book comprised a preface and 26 chapters. The chapter 1 to 16 are irrelevant to the Shams, and they explain the political and cultural history and geography of Iran during pre- and post-Islamic period. This consumed first 336 pages of book. The chapter 17 to 20 are about Shams, and chapter 21 to 26 are about Mevlana. At the end, there is an annexure comprised a selection of Diwan-e-Shams by Mevlana with Urdu translation. Mostly the book is based on Jami, Ghulam Dastagir Nami and Shibli Nomani's works, and we found no fresh research about Shams in this book. Works attributed to Shams Tabrizi. One of the book authored by a mystic poet Shamsuddin Tabrizi living in 8th century Hijra has been intermixed with that of Shams-e-Kabir. Particularly one of his Masnavi, Marghub al-Qulub, has been ascribed to Shams Tabrizi. The Masnavi consists of 10 chapters. This Masnavi categorically contains the year of its composition 757. The Hijrat Hafsado Panjao Haftas, Shumare Hasba, Tarikh Vaktas, Darin Rahkar Harche Bude Hasil, Benazmawar de Shamsunra, Veda Fasl, Shude Itmam in Manzume Mawzoom, Ke Marghubal Kalubas Naam Aknu. Despite the fact that this Masnavi was composed in 757, but the scribes and publishers of subcontinent ascribed it to Shams Tabrizi. In its edition with Urdu and Punjabi translation, it was clearly referred to Shams Tabrizi on the title page. I have an example of this title. This is the Tariq and this is the title. Masnavi hz.Shems Tabrizi with Masnavi Shaykh Khattar. Homage to Shams Tabrizi. Dr. Muhammad Iqbal, the poet of East, considered himself as a Murid-e-Hindi of a Pir-e-Rumi and revived the teachings of Masnavi in Indian subcontinent, mentioned Shams Tabrizi in his Persian and Urdu poetry. He also used the symbol of Tabriz with reference to Shams Tabrizi. In his Masnavi Asrar-e-Khudi, Iqbal, through a character Mir Najat Naqshband, known as Baba Sahrai, has advised Indian Muslims against the backdrop of meeting between Shams and Mevlana in Mevlana Madrasa. Iqbal drew from his incident that knowledge and wisdom are complete with soz-e dil, and apparent knowledge and wisdom generate doubt and rejection, and pathos of hurt is a symbol of faith and pity, as it said. Pir Rumi ze irshad kamal, just rahe maktabe mulla jalal, guft in ghoga kilo kal cheez, in qiyaso wahmo istidlal cheez, Maulvi farmud nadan lab beban, bar maqalate khiradmanda makhan, paye khish az maktabam berun guzar, Kilo kalast intora babe chekar, kalema az fehmeto bala taras, shisha idrak ra roshan garas, soz shams az gufte mulla fazud, atishi az jan Tabrizi gushud, bar zami barke nigahe u fatar, khak az soze dame u shole zad, atishe dil khirmane idrak sukh, daftare un falsafira pak sukh, मौलवी बीगाने अज एजाज इश्क नाशनास नगमहाये साज इश्क गुफ्त इन आतश चसा अफरूख्ती दफ्तर अरबाब हिकमत सूख्ती गुफ्त शेख मुस्लिम जुन्नारदार ज़ौक़ हालस्त इन तुराबा बैचकार हाल मा अज फ़िक्र तो बाला तरस शोला वा कीमिया अहमरस्त साख्ती अज बर्फ हिकमत साजुबर असहाबे फ़िक्र तो बारत तगर آتشی افروز از خاشاک خیش شعله‌ای تعمیر کن از خاک خیش علم مسلم کامل است سوز دل است معنی اسلام ترک آفل است چون زبند آفل ابراہیم راست درمیان شعلہ ها نیک و نشست. He regards his pathos of the fire of Tebrizi and says in one of his most favorite ghazal in his collection of poems, Mai Baqi, Mutrab ghazali beiti az murshid room avar ta hote zanat janam dar atish Tebrizi. But he is proud of his Brahman lineage because he was confident of Shams and Mevlana secrets. Mara benigar dar Hindustan digar nami bini Brahman zadaye Ramza ashnae Room Tabrizas. In other couplet he says, although he is Hind Zada, son of India, but light of his eyes is from dust of Bukhara, Kabul and Tabriz. Agarche Zada Hindam فروغ چشم من است ز خاک پاک بخارا و کابل و تبریز. Iqbal hopes that land of Iran would again give birth to a Mevlana and Shams in his Urdu couplet. نہ اٹھا پھر کوئی رومی عجب کہ لالازاروں سے وہی آب و گلو ایران وہی تبریز ہے ساقی. نہیں ہے نا امید اقبال اپنی کشت ویراں سے ذرا نہ ہو تو یہ مٹی بڑی زرخیز ہے ساقی. Thank you.